Today we're going to be talking about living in Florida with one guarantee: change. We're getting after that next. Hey everybody, my name's Craig Cunha. I'm a real estate agent here in Southwest Florida. And if you are looking for a channel to tell you a little bit more about what it's like to live, play, eat, sleep, and buy real estate on the Gulf Coast, then this is a channel for you. Go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell to make sure you're notified every time. And if you want to start your search in advance, go to ournextfloridahome.com. You'll get tied directly to the MLS. You'll see all the live time listings and when those statuses change. I'm getting calls from people every day asking questions about what it's like to live here, what they need to know, and how they can best prepare to move here. So if you've got a question like that you need an answer to, you have to call, text, or email, because I've got your back when moving to the Gulf Coast. All right, so we're going to be talking about living in Florida. And yes, one of the guarantees is things are going to change. Things are changing constantly. We're going to be talking about the market. We're going to be talking about new services that are in the area. We'll be even talking about some of the hazards that can happen in the area for your pets. One in particular you really have to pay attention to. So stay tuned to the end. Make sure you're picking up all these tips. Once again, if you have any questions, just reach out. I'd be happy to answer them. So we're going to start like we do every week. We're going to talk about the market. The real estate market is absolutely nuts, as it always has been. Prices continue to climb. Every single report I see, we're looking for solutions. We're looking for ways around it. We're trying to find out what's the secret. How do we build these homes faster? How do we make more of them available? Heck, how do we deal with the rent increases? So what I did find in looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, probably the most common floor plan in Southwest Florida. And what I'm finding is the starting price for these is now right around the $200,000 mark, and that's all the way out in Immokalee. If you don't know where Immokalee is, it's way over to the east on State Route 29, and it is a farming town. They have tomato fields and things like that. So that's far away from everything that you'd probably want if you're residing here for fun and activity. Way far from the beach, and if you're one of those people, that's not where you're going to live. And then what I found as I started looking at the numbers, you kind of take where Fort Myers, Cape Coral, and Lehigh Acres are, right? Everything to the east is generally a little less money because it's further from the water. That's a generalization because heading south and going east is still expensive because south is the priciest part of Southwest Florida. South will take you from Fort Myers, South Fort Myers, Estero, Bonita, and Naples. Literally every single one of those cities you step up to, you end up paying more money. It's just what it is. If you go west, there are increases in prices, especially when you get to the beach, to the coastline. So Fort Myers Beach is at the top end of pricing right now here in the area. Cape Coral, believe it or not, is still sitting towards the lower end of pricing to purchase, even though it doesn't seem like it. I mean, heck, median prices now at $350, and they were $250 a year ago. That's a big increase, and we continue to see these increases all the time. The builders, once again, can't keep up with it. They can't even keep up with the increases in the supply chains. Every time they go to put an order in, price has gone up. If the price goes up, what happens to the prices the homes are offering? They go up too, right? So keep that in mind. Whenever you're looking to get into a new construction situation, it can work out very well for you in that you may not have a bunch of buyers that are trying to get the same home like you would on a resale home, but you're taking a little bit of a chance on things like interest rates, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. And you're going to just have to give in to the fact that this house is being built the way it was being built before you ever came along. So there won't be any changes. You're not making any changes to the tile, to the cabinets, to the carpets, whatever. You're not changing it because many of these orders had to go in so long ago to be sure the parts and pieces would be here that they can't possibly redo that order in time without further delays. So if you're looking for new construction, just accept what it's going to be and hopefully lock in a price that won't change on you. Now, the other thing I started noticing when I was looking at the numbers going north is Punta Gorda, which was always a really small historic town. I think it was 21,000 people before all this pandemic stuff started. They're probably hitting on 25 to 30 now. And the problem with this is their prices are just as high as a place like Cape Coral. So even though it's a smaller town, Remember, there's less offerings, there's less homes available, so that's going to push prices up. So even if you think you're going to a smaller town to save money and get better pricing, you're going to have to go a lot further than that. You might try to go further inland, because once again, get away from water, prices go down. Now, because we're talking about housing, after I looked at the sales numbers for a 322, that's again 3-bed, 2-bath, 2-car garage, I looked at rental numbers. Now, what was really surprising, annual rentals, believe it or not, there were 157 of them in all of Southwest Florida. When I say Southwest Florida in this MLS, I'm saying there might be pieces and parts of Punta Gorda, but everything's south of there. Cape Coral, Fort Myers, North Fort Myers, Estero, Bonita, Naples, the beach. All that stuff goes in there. Sanibel, Captiva, they're all in there. 157 annual rentals. Do you want to know where they start? There's one below $2,000 a month. Yes, $2,000 a month. That's tough. That is getting very expensive for rent. You can get a mortgage in many cases for less than that, because this is just principal and interest. We're not even getting into taxes and insurance yet. So with that said, you must plan ahead if you're going to be getting into any kind of housing, whether you're renting or buying. Heck, that whole thought process before about, hey, maybe I ought to rent first and check out the area before I buy. I don't know if that's so smart anymore. You might just want to make the investment on the home, get the equity increase while you're there, and if you decide to move in 2 years, because that's your capital gains time, stay for 2 years, you won't pay capital gains, and then move to the next area if that fits your plan, and if you're the kind of person that can do that. What we're seeing on the purchase side of things that makes it also a difficult decision is that interest rates are continuing to climb. We are somewhere now between 3.75 and 4%, and it's about a full point up from last year. So we are seeing those increases. They were saying that we're hoping to slow the market down by having the rate increases. It's not really slowing anything. I think what it's doing is now it's bringing even more people forward to get into the market and find something while the rates are still reasonable. Because again, 3.75 and 4%, those are still absolutely phenomenal rates, but not according to today's standards. Everybody's used to 3%, right? The 2.75%. Those days are most likely gone. So instead of trying to hold on and wait for change, this isn't the change you want to wait for, because there's very little chance it's going down, and they're only going to go up. So lock in what you can lock in. I was on the phone today with Trent talking to him, and one of the things that we were talking about is making decisions sooner before rates go crazy. And where you're coming from, you may find that you're very well saving a ton of money just by moving. I mean, taxes in most states away from us, if you have income tax, that's going to be a savings to you by moving here, because we don't have that. So whatever amount you're paying on your income tax back in your home state, consider that a bonus, but apply it towards the different expenses here. We're going to talk about a couple other expenses as we go, and one of them is going to be insurance, because that's something we're also seeing some increases with. Now, as I mentioned, one of the challenges of new construction is the rates going up while you're waiting for the home to finish, and now we're hearing some pretty scary numbers about finish times. It can be as much as 18 to 24 months to finish a new construction home. Now, I will tell you that's most likely going to be on the custom side, because things do take longer on custom builds. If it's a volume builder, you're probably still going to be 12 to 18 months. But keep that in mind, because you cannot lock rates that far out, and you're going to be at the mercy of whatever the market does. Now, I found this meme. Some people were getting tired of finding the homes they were finding. They said, hey, can we look at a more expensive home tomorrow? And what's the agent say? Yeah, we'll come back to this house tomorrow because it's going to rise in price. It's a joke, yes, but really not so much. I literally have had that happen to clients where offers are put in one day and it gets turned down and the price goes up substantially in some cases. So keep that in mind. This market is not going anywhere but up. All right, so I mentioned about change, and change is happening constantly, and insurance is one of the things that we're dealing with now. We're finding that our insurance rates are going up. I found out this morning that there's a big reason why. Not only have we had some natural disasters in the last few years that kind of skirted the state or hit certain sections of it, but those totals still add up. We're in the billions of dollars of losses. So that's why these insurance rates are going up. Even though the majority of the state isn't affected by it, there's also been a number of people that are putting in claims for roofs and things. In some cases, it's just an aged roof. maybe a couple shingles came off in one of our windstorms or one of our tropical storms. So they chalk it up as a damage that happened during one of these storms and get a whole new roof, and somebody's got to pay for it, right? The insurance company. There's also a bunch of lawsuits going on out there, and I was surprised to find out that 71% of the funds from a lawsuit that involves home damages and having insurance companies pay them, it goes to the attorneys. So really, the insurance company is totally getting raked over the coals. So if you're wondering about why insurance is going up or why it's high, that's probably the biggest reason. And again, it's just part of your cost to live here. You have to give trade-offs no matter where you are. Our trade-off to have this beautiful sunshine and this wonderful weather throughout the year, we pay a little bit more on insurances. But again, we save on taxes. Something that's happening here locally that's very new to us, and hopefully it starts happening around the country too, is Lee Health is now doing house calls. Yeah, they're coming to your house to assess you and what your condition is. The reason why is the hospitals are getting full of people that are going with COVID symptoms, whether they have COVID or not. Everybody's back in a panic again. Everybody's getting tested when they probably don't need to. I had a sickness for a short time, and I think I sound better this week, you tell me, but it passed. And I went to the doctor and I got the Z-Pack and all that. It did very little, so there's a good chance it was COVID for me. But again, you stay away from people, isolate yourself, do the right thing in that regard, and let it pass. There's nothing you can do for it. Don't panic. Unless you're having severe symptoms, then you seek the hospital care. But Lee Health is doing this service right now. The expense for it is about the same as visiting the urgent care, so it's not going to be super expensive to do. And I'll go ahead and post a link down below of where you can, the website you can go to get yourself set up on this program. But the other reason this is happening, and again, you're going to have patience. Everybody's short-staffed right now, including the medical field. There's a lot of panic there too. In some cases, they're being forced to get vaccinated because even here in Florida, the hospitals that receive funds from Medicare, Medicaid, because they're in those programs, have to be vaccinated. Yeah, I don't know. That's just one of the things. We can't escape it. And some nurses are just like, I'm not doing it. They just aren't going to put themselves in that position, and they're walking away from the job. So we are short-staffed there. We're short-staffed in the restaurants. We're short-staffed in the construction teams. So there's going to be a lot of short-staffed things. This is where we need to just understand that's what it is and have patience. Now, with all this COVID stuff going on, they're now starting to allow for you to receive free at-home COVID tests. Okay. I did it just to try out the system and see how the order worked. Hey, if I travel somewhere and I need to have a test, I'll have a way to do it. I'm not a fan of all this, but at some point you have to check the boxes for the things you might need to meet the criteria for, again, things like travel. In any case, you can go to special.usps.com, and in there you can order your set of at-home COVID tests. There's 4 per set. So go ahead and jump on there. They said I think it's going to be about a week or 2 before they're delivered, but each household has 1 free order of these at-home COVID tests. Now here's some fun. If you haven't talked to me in the last couple days, then I didn't get to share with you. I spent the day at jury duty the other day. What an amazing experience. Not. I sat in this courthouse for 9 hours because there were 60 of us that were potential candidates to be in the jury. And they asked every one of us the same set of questions. And then each attorney asked more questions. And it just got redundant. 9 hours worth. And no, I wasn't picked. So, yeah, it could have been interesting because it was an interesting case. But yes, here in Florida, you can be called to jury duty. And don't think it's if you register to vote, which I mistakenly thought was the case before. That's not how they do it. If you have a government license, whether it's a driver's license or just a regular ID, you now get to be in the potential jury pool, and it can happen every single year. You can be called in every year. So I just got done with my year of service for 2022, so I can breathe a sigh of relief until next year. But once again, you either go in for a short period, which could be an hour or 2, or you spend the whole day there. And if you're really blessed, you call the night before on the phone to find out if you even have to report. And if your number is not on that list, you get to just go to work or stay home. You might have heard this past week we had tornadoes. Yes, tornadoes were here in Southwest Florida, about 5 of them. And they caused quite a bit of damage. And ironically enough, they hit probably our most vulnerable types of homes, which is the mobile home parks. So there was a lot of damage for them. And as it is, we're in such short supply of housing. To have that happen to us right now is probably the worst thing that could have happened to these homeowners. But with this, it's an odd thing for us because we're off season of our storms. You know, hurricanes happen in the summertime. Well, we're not used to seeing this. So this is another one of our changes that we didn't expect either. But apparently when these cold fronts are coming in now, they're coming in strong. They're coming in brutal. And when the warm air meets the cool air, and they're just clashing. We're having some significant storms. We're getting warnings ahead of time. In fact, people started getting warnings. I think this was the morning of the 16th. That was a Sunday. So people are getting warnings on their phone. I think my phone went off 5 times with these warnings saying that there is a tornado warning in your area. It's going to expire at X time. Then another one comes in and the time was expanded. And this went on all through the morning. So this can happen. What I can advise you to do is go outside to your lanai space, put together your furnishings and anything that can fly around as well as you possibly can so that you don't risk further damage, whether it's to screens or windows, heck, maybe even your neighbor's property. But do what you can to control that situation because these storms can pop up out of nowhere. You get a little bit of warning, but not a whole heck of a lot. Since we're on weather, you're also probably hearing that we're going to get temperatures and have gotten temperatures in the 40s. And inland, as of Sunday night into Monday morning this coming week, they could see the 30s. I mean, we've had literal frost warnings in some areas, which Florida, frost, especially Southwest Florida, yeah, sounds really odd. But it's happening. This is some of the coldest weather we're going to see all year. We do like it for short periods of time, but there's one strange thing that we get happening when this cold weather comes, and it's falling iguanas. Yes, these iguanas, they go into a coma at a certain temperature and can't hold on to the tree anymore and fall out of it. So the only thing you'd be in danger of is having one of these things fall on your head. They are herbivores. They're not trying to come and bite you and eat you up. But be aware, they could fall out of the trees with the cold temperatures. And it is kind of a joke for us, but if it hits you on the head, it might not be so much of a joke. This week was another huge event for us. So we have all these things. See why I said change this week? So many things are changing. Farmer Joe's Market was probably the biggest news outside of those tornadoes of the week. This place was an absolute zoo. I just had to go check it out. I missed the soft opening the day before. They had limited hours to go and kind of peruse the place. Grand opening, I'm glad I drive a truck because I needed to find parking, so I just drove up on vacant land and settled in wherever I could find space. But there were literally hundreds of cars. There were police officers guiding traffic. There were lines of people waiting to get shopping carts. It was just craziness. And this was this way all day long. It just stayed this way. Anyway, I did decide to walk through the store and kind of peruse it, give you an idea of what to expect there. I'm going to tell you what, you talking about an array of fresh produce. And the one cool thing that they did mention is that most of this stuff is coming from within 2 hours of our location. So they're keeping it local. This is only helping our economy even further. But these displays that they have there are amazing. They're cutting open the fruit and wrapping with cellophane so you can see how fresh the fruit is, whether it's a grapefruit or a orange or whatever it is. Then they have the pre-prepared fruits all lined up in containers in rows. You can go ahead and pick those up. There is obviously a deli section. There is a sandwich section. There is the cooked food section. We've got even a candy and baked goods section. Yes, I said candy. I know. The truffles, I'm a sucker for truffles. They had a bunch of those there. So many things that you can find at this place. And they're saying that they're going to keep these prices really reasonable. So we're going to see what happens. I found this Wagyu prime rib for $99.99 a pound on sale for $50. Yeah, so they're going to put things on sale. Some things are within reason. That one for me, I think that's a no-go. Really don't like that kind of meat that much, but if you're that kind of person, they have a full array of pre-cut meats. You can have the butcher cut you some more different pieces of meat if you choose. Fresh seafood is also there, and just come and peruse the place. See what they've got to offer. They do have wine. Mayomi is there, and they have the 750-liter bottle there, and everybody was going nuts over the fact that it was, I want to say $12.99 a bottle. Yeah, I've purchased that before down in Naples, and it was $20. And that was before all this craziness has hit with all the price increases for shortages. So keep that in mind. If you want something new, something fresh, something different, head over to Farmer Joe's right on Pine Island Road, just east of Chiquita Boulevard, and have the time of your life. All right, so I mentioned at the beginning, I have something for the pets, and I want you to pay special attention to this. I was out walking my little, I'm going to call her my little foster daughter. I'm taking care of this pup for the weekend, and it's fantastic. I absolutely love it. I love animals, but I don't like the responsibility, so I like when I can help out and just experience it for a little bit. Kind of like, when you're a grandparent, you can give the kids back. Anyway, when you're walking your dogs, you need to pay attention to what's going on around you. We have a lot of wildlife here. In fact, I was walking with my son and the dog here, Georgie. We were walking the other day, and a hawk was on the line. My son ran up to scare it away, just to get it away from where we were coming. Hawks, eagles, coyotes, obviously gators, lots of predators around here. And for small animals like this one, we don't want to take the chance. There's another one it's a very small insect, but one that can put a whole lot of pain into you. And you don't want that to happen to your little one either. This fire ant pile, you'll see just by tapping it, any disturbance on top of these piles, and the ants come flooding out, and they attack, like endlessly. They attack you. You'll end up blistering your skin. It will burn, and it's not going to go away for some time. So if you want to save your pet that anguish, watch out for these piles. They clearly stand out to you because they are a lighter color than the grass. They're usually piled up above the grass. Now, once you find one of these piles in your yard, I found something that works very well. In fact, my neighbor suggested I use this stuff. It's a product made by Ortho called Orthene, and it smells like sauerkraut. But you spread this stuff on the pile, and within minutes, they're dying. So it's a very effective product to use. And if you have these piles in your yard and you just want to get rid of them, go to Home Depot, go to Lowe's, get a bottle of this stuff, sprinkle it over the top of it. It'll take care of the problem for you. All right, another big change here. Food trucks. Yeah, we have food trucks here. And these food trucks now have been given permission to go to more areas around the county. Now, I'm not really a food truck guy. I haven't really tried it. Maybe once or twice here or there. If I'm missing something, please comment down below and tell me why I should be doing these food trucks more often. To me, I just think of possibly a lack of freshness. I don't know, cleanliness of the actual vehicle. I don't know, but something makes me a little apprehensive about it. So yeah, I would love to hear what you think about these food trucks. In any case, we're getting more of them. They're going to be throughout the county, and you're going to have more opportunities to get to these. They usually take them to some of the special events. Obviously, if you're a construction worker or somebody who works out in the field, these trucks are going to go to some of the bigger projects so that they can get more of the clientele for the lunches and dinners. But I'd love to hear what you think. Maybe food trucks are something I should give a second chance. Now, Top Golf is one of our newest attractions here in the area, and you've seen that I've put some things out before about spending some time there. It's gotten crazy over there too. I don't know if it's because we're in season. I don't know really what it is, and it can be any time of day, any particular day. Your wait when you go there, be prepared for a long one, especially if it's on a weekend. 3 to 4 hours in some cases. Last time we went, it was a 3.5 hour wait to get a bay. Once you're in the bay, you can pick however long you want to stay. That's probably part of the problem. Somebody starts off with an hour, then adds another half hour or another hour, and they can keep going like that as long as they want. It is scaled to different prices for different times. Like in the morning, it's $27 an hour, and then kind of early afternoon to mid-afternoon, it goes to $37, and then all the way up to $47 per hour for the evenings. So with this delay, they do have a restaurant there with a number of items that you can just sit there. We had lunch. We spent a little time just hanging out, and then eventually got our bay. So it wasn't horrible. There's also restaurants close by, but keep in mind, if you go too far away and you don't get back when you get notified within 10 minutes, they're going to give your bay away. So if you don't want to risk that, stay on site. There's massive TVs that are hanging out right there in the common area. You can watch the other people hitting balls and, laugh at them because there's some funny individuals out there that are taking in this sport and trying it out. The place is a lot of fun. You will spend more time there than you think you will, but be prepared to wait. Well, that's living in Florida, and the one guarantee, I'm sure you've heard it all through the video, is change. Everything is changing. We're in constant flux. Things are being added. Things are being taken away. Things are just different every single week. So if you want to have your different in a sunny, tropical, amazing location, maybe you work remote, this might be the place for you. If you got any questions that you need more answers to, check out one of these videos. And if there's a specific question that I can answer for you, you've got to call, text, or email because I've got your back when moving to the Gulf Coast.